No, I'm just verifying that everything's working right. Hope everything is going well. Ah, it looks like it is. It looks like it is. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. That's what I was looking for. Great. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Nothing was over you, Dan. I gotcha. Okay, so let's look at the temperature first. So the current temperature is about 70 degrees. Wow, my gimbal is not gimbaling the way it is supposed to today. So we're going to go feed the chickens. Actually, Lisa's already started, so we're probably going to go collect water. And then we're going to do a little tour and look around and see how the different types of garden stuff is going. And we're going to talk about bad information. So today's episode is really just kind of about bad information. I'm not necessarily talking about false information, not necessarily even talking about misinformation. Sometimes bad information isn't nefarious. It's just easy to spread. And we're all guilty of it. We've all probably spread bad information purely on accident because we thought we had really good knowledge. And where this came about is I was having a conversation with my parents and my sister, and then I had another conversation with another one of my friends, and I was just realizing there were some silly things, completely separate. The things weren't related, but some silly things that everybody was just saying that I'm just like, no, that's actually dangerous to say things like that. So, yeah, Lisa's in here feeding everyone. So let's start taking the water. I'll start taking the water over that way. And what do I mean by dangerous information? So I'll give an example because I tried to get some better examples than just the ones that we were talking, because the ones we were talking in the house were kind of, they weren't the best examples. But so there is some information, they're passing around this information about like how much water you should drink or how many meals you should eat a day. And one of the information that was really bothering me is it was telling people, they're just like, oh, you shouldn't eat I'll just give an example. You shouldn't eat 3 meals a day. You should only eat 1 meal a day. And now, while that is something I practice, it's not actually that good of advice for everyone. Some people, depending on a variety of things about themselves, maybe should eat multiple times a day, and other people should, fast and eat certain times a day. But the other important thing into that is that's also going to depend on your unique personal lifestyle. Because you should be finding the eating style that keeps you the healthiest, whatever that means for you. So some people, it might mean grazing all day. Some people, it might mean eating 1 big meal. Some people, it might mean eating 3-4 meals a day. But in the information that they were saying, like the kind of stuff they were spreading, is they were giving the claim that the only reason we eat 3 meals a day is because it was a Rothschild. It was a Rothschild conspiracy. And that's just, out of all the times it's interesting to blame the monster class, to blame some people call the elite, to blame different things. Like that's a really dumb one to be going at. It's just a really, I don't know, it's just really stupid. Because again, if you are working a 9-to-5 job, you are part of the machine. You are a cog in the machine. It's good to have your 3 meals a day because you're part of the system, and that's how that system functions based off of your workload throughout the course of the day. You eat before you go to work, you get your break at work, and you can eat a small meal, and then you eat in the evenings. And usually your biggest meal is in the evenings. And so I actually have nothing wrong with that because, if we take away the lunch break, the system will try to say, oh, well, you don't need to eat during the day. They just, that system was set up because people were working a lot harder. As a farmer, I actually just eat when I feel like it. On days that I'm out in the field picking up hay or days that I'm really, really busy, I might eat more than 3 times a day, even though I'm normally even just a meal eater. I may even eat multiple times a day because I need the energy because I'm hungry. But there'll also be days, just chill days, where everything's just working really well and I don't need to do a whole lot that day. And so on those days, I may only have 1 meal. And so that's just one example of the bad information. And I'm starting to see just bad information just show up, literally show up everywhere. And some of it is just, it's silly. It's not going to hurt anyone. It's just, oh, the president said this or this said this. And, I'm like, yeah, we can't kind of confirm it. We can't kind of deny it, but it's not hurting. It's not hurting everything. But then we have the information that, like, when I start looking up things dealing with like medical, or when I start dealing with like plant medicine, and there's information that's just so bluntly straight up false. And I understand some of the falseness to it. They're just like, oh, well, it's better to play safe than sorry. But the problem with the playing safe than sorry, it's why I stand by the statement, safety third. So it's better to play safe than sorry, is that's just what happens with that is then something comes in and says, oh, well, this is a safer option than that. That has a high chance of you dying. This only has a small chance of you dying, when they could be completely lying. C-130s sound like they're flying over. I don't see them right now. I hear them. Right there. It's not a C-130, but it's a nice big plane. Zipping right through the clouds. You can't see it. I can't get to the camera in time, but it's kind of fun because it was right on the cloud level. I like when they're right on the cloud level. It's really fun. It's funny, with him flying over and the height he's flying over and the fact that he flew over in the cloud, he's actually what's causing this breeze. And people say we can't manipulate the weather. That's just because they don't think enough in that direction. And again, I'm not even talking about necessarily conspiracies, like I just did a conspiracy there. I personally, think a particular way, and based off of the information I have, but that's not here nor there. It's just when things feel like they're designed so that the ignorant people don't know how to give you the truth. Because, and again, stupid and ignorance are two different things. Ignorant people, someone that doesn't know any better, and someone that's just trying to, be helpful. But when nefarious people start weaponizing those people, is where it starts really getting on my nerves. Because a lot of people are genuinely trying to do good. I'm of the belief, and this is where I differ with a lot of people that I know, is I'm of the belief that people are genuinely good first, and over time they get jaded, they get destroyed, and that's what makes bad people. I don't think that we're naturally bad. And I'm basing this off of my personal observation and all of the information, all the data of when I was going into child therapy and researching all of that. Be a child therapist. Kids aren't genuinely bad. They're just misunderstood. Or they get rewarded for bad actions, and rewarded is sometimes just attention. So, but again, it's just, I don't even want to spread some of the bad information that I've heard. Like I've just trying to lately talk about some of the silly ones. that weren't actually harmful, that weren't going to be harmful for anyone. I just want you guys to be extra aware, especially in this world of AI. The AI is doing one thing, but what it's also doing is it's actually also helping to decredit good information, because there might be some people using AI to get their message across. That's their art form. They have never had a way before to be able to have their voice as loud and as controlled that they have, so they might be using those tools to help their voice. But there's also bad people doing bad things. I don't know, it's just really interesting. And again, careful with my words. I like that people aren't necessarily trusting authority, and I like that they're not trusting everything, but sometimes you need to trust someone else's experience. And that's I have to remind myself of that sometimes too, but sometimes someone knows more than you do because they have a different life experience, and it's not just book knowledge, even though it might seem like book knowledge. Because how many more do you think we're going to need, Lisa?
None.
Okay. I think there's at least one more bag of hay.
You just pull that out and I'll put it back in.
Oh. He just needs a bag of hay. Where were we going with that? I don't know. We were going in some direction that it doesn't really matter. So, all of this that we're talking about is why I really try to live my life in the permaculture mindset. And I need to really kind of one day soon break it down to all you guys so you guys can actually understand it a little bit better. I know I talk about it and I've given you some little simple lessons, but I really just need to break down all of it. And what I like about the permaculture mindset, the permaculture lifestyle, is you can still have all of the social sharing that exists in the world. You know, because I think as I've gotten older and as I realized things, I am a big fan of universal healthcare. I actually think that if we're going to have a government, which we're going to have a government, if we're going to have a government, one of the roles of the government should be to take care of us. I want to actually show Lisa something real fast. Hey, Lisa, come to the barn for me just a second. I want to show you something really cool. I want to show you something. I've never, I don't think you've ever seen one before. I've not.
When you do so-called walk over there by that pool also, the triangle thing.
Yeah.
Because right beside it, like the big, almost a bowling ball can roll down it.
Okay. So have you ever seen one of those? I called them cave crickets.
They look like big giant bumblebee.
Yeah. It's just a cricket.
Dang it, let me get my phone.
So I will show you guys too. Let Lisa get her phone. And then I will zoom in and show you guys. You guys might find it. You guys might find it interesting. So I knew them as cave crickets. I don't think that that's actually what they are. So I don't exactly know. Oh, wait, before I open it again, I don't, just in case it jumps away, I'll at least be able to get a picture of it. So we're going to turn this back. So what we're doing is we're having our makeshift door that we have here on the, so there is the thing that I know as a cave cricket. Never actually, like, I've seen them in caves lots of times. I've just, like, especially in West Virginia, I've just never actually seen one at our house. I've seen them outside the caves and such. I've not seen one outside our house.
Yeah. holes in the field. Hey, what are you doing? When I get super close, is he going to jump?
He jumps, he jumps. I can't.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll show you guys so you guys can see. So there's to give you perspective, but just to give you like, so see how show you how big he really is. So those really big, cool dudes. So, and I'll let you go back here and sleep.
He doesn't get to go to sleep, though.
No sleepy time for the cricket.
No, it's not bedtime. It's just gonna be. Okay. He's got beautiful tights on.
Mm-hmm. And you can really, if you look this way, you can really see the spikes on their legs that make the noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretend like he's not facing that way. He's facing our way, and he's sitting on something.
Yeah. Okay. Ducks. This is the black and white ducks. Close to the skate back so I can... Lisa wanted me to look at something. I don't remember. I think she said there was a giant hole. So let's go look at the giant hole. So we're on our way to look at the giant hole. So the grass that we transplanted is doing really well over here, which is fun. The pond is nice and full. For this giant hole that Lisa's talking about. Huh. That's a pretty good hole. I agree. Don't know what's down there, but that's a pretty good hole. My garlic puffs. So it's allium or allium, some allium puffs. Let's see. Let's just walk. We'll walk back that way, and then we'll head out to the garden. Show you what I've got out there so far. Also, since we're gonna go this way, I'll show you how well the corn is doing. I'm very excited about this corn. I'm actually extra excited this year about this corn because my buddy who gave me this corn, I found out about a week ago, died of complications from a car accident. So I think it was like 85. What is going on here? Are you guys coming back or are you guys swarming? I want to show you guys this. What is going on? I can't tell. They have a slight feeling of a swarm, but I could be wrong. No. Okay, this is why I know it's not a swarm. So I'll show you guys how I know it's not a swarm. There's two reasons. That's why it's nice to have more than one beehive. There should be a lot of extra activity around here. A lot of extra activity. Okay, and if I even go to my small one, you're going to see a lot of extra activity as well. So we're going to walk down here to the small one, and you're going to see a lot of extra activity down here as well. So what that is meaning is the weather, it's raining someplace, the barometric pressure's changing, or they are preparing for the storm. So even the little one right here is, well, since we're here, this is where we're going to start. So we have in here, we have my jalapeno peppers. So very excited to see that we have this really nice jalapeno going right there. Well, that kind of has a habanero feel, but now let's peek over here. These should be the habaneros. They look beautiful as well, but do we have any peppers? Man. I'll leave that open for just a little bit, just so they can get a little bit more sunlight, but they're looking great. I like those little greenhouses. So here's my corn. All of my corn is doing well. So we have, this is a Aztec corn, and then these are moonflowers. One of my favorite herbal plants to grow. I have some loofahs growing right in here, and then the rest in a lot of the other stuff that's popping up are peas. So let's head up and around because we're going to go. We're going to go look at the just-in-time garden. I love how lush and jungly everything is growing up around us. So we're gonna head out to the Just-in-Time Victory Garden. It's it's meh this year. The garlic, primo the garlic, but I kind of slacked a little bit at everything else, so it's not quite as nice. But I have a lot of fun things growing in the garden. So I didn't, I think we did do one experiment. I think lovage, but I think I failed at my lovage experiment this year. I need to, when I do some experiments in my garden, I've decided I need to have an experimental garden closer to the house instead of the one all the way out here. While I do come out here almost every day, walk out to the garden, the problem I have is that I walk out here and then I forget that I should be doing this, that, or the other. So if I have an experimental garden nice and close to the house, I think it'll make things better. So I'm going to try to figure out how to make that this year. And I know that sounds silly to say try to figure out how to make it, but I need to figure out the optimum way to do it the way I want it to get done. So 1, 2, took hold. What a shame. I also failed this year at replanting garlic. I started late, which in turn meant I tried to cut corners. And by cutting those corners, it just did not work out the way it needed to work out. So, alas. Got some new ideas for next year. We'll be working on those. We still got some stuff we can finish doing this year. But I really like that little micro garden I had in my backyard. I think that I'm going to focus more on doing stuff like that because I've done really well when I've focused on smaller bits of garden. So what I wanted to show you out here is here in the garden. I'm very excited. So this is making a bunch of bulblets because I let my garlic go to seed. So I'm going to let those bulblets do their bulblet thing, and then I'll pull the garlic. And I have this squash just doing awesome. So I'm going to make sure I can do the squash on the other side next year. because I have this one here, and I made another bed. There's another bed sitting right here. I just haven't put anything in it, so I'm gonna next year, well, this fall, I'm gonna start filling this up, and I'm gonna clean out all this wood around here. I'm gonna use that wood from other things, and I think that'll be cool. So this is looking good. Unfortunately, some of it's been eaten a bit. I do luckily still have a little bit of tobacco trying to grow there. I need to spend more time, dedicate more time to growing my tobacco, and I did not. This is a good year. I had the energy to, I shouldn't say that. I had the time to do things, and so I'm trying to realistically look at what I actually did. So the grapevines are good. This is going to be a perfect spot for grapevines. I'm pretty happy with, that's going to be a good spot for grapevines. Some deer come in and eating those grapevines. That grapevine looks good. So all my grapevines except for one are looking good. So okay, let's go take a walk this way. Let's go check out the elderberries and just enjoy living on the mountain. Today is even though it's about the storm, it's another one of those absolutely superb days. We're going to check over here. We're going to see how the pawpaws, my hidden pawpaws, are doing. Three. It looks like I have 3 pawpaws. I don't think I can see anybody anywhere. Oh, okay, it's just Adam. Just Mr. Adam. So yeah, 3 pawpaws. You know, so let's have a real talk again. So why, you might be thinking, Doc, why haven't you got some of your stuff done? Well, one, there's lots of other things that need to get done on almost a regular day basis. And then with having ADD on top of that, like I plan for things, then I have those plans, and then I get a project done. So another project that's not actually related to the project I need to get done. And for some reason that fills that level of like, it then feels like I got that project done because I got something accomplished, even though it wasn't what I was supposed to get accomplished. And so that in some ways, then I focus on another project because I feel like I got that first one done. And then I've got 2 projects done. I feel like I've accomplished so much this day, but neither of the projects were things that I actually needed to get done. And so that being said, here on a farm, there's always something you need to be working on. So there's always a project. There's always something you need to be working on. Always, always, always. It's really interesting. So it's just easy to get distracted that way. It's easy to let life distract you and send you in a different direction. Didn't see my interesting weird flowers this year. They usually grow up here. I keep looking for them, thinking that maybe I missed them. But I don't see them. Ah, I found them. Love these guys. These are so cool. And they only really grow in a couple little tiny spots, but right here is some of them. I think I'm gonna trim down this tree now that I know where these are at. I'm gonna put this right by where they're growing, so I know exactly where they're at. Okay. So Elderberries. Elderberries. That's what that is. That's elderberries. And then we have some, right there is milkweed. Some raspberries. Not red. Yeah, some raspberries there. We have some angelica, some beautiful angelica growing right here. More elderberries. More. I love these roses. These roses are always full of weird bumblebees. This one's actually full of June bugs right now. Interesting. Usually don't have June bugs. Ah, man. Beautiful. Look at that. Storm trying to form right there. Trying to stack up. We were actually coming here to look at the elderberries and see how berrying they are. Oh, they look good here. Look at this. Those elderberries look good. There's still a few flowers. Still a few flowers. Beautiful flowers. So, what happened there? This is what I pushed. Okay. But yeah, guys. So to recap, we were talking earlier about bad information, not misinformation, not nefarious, just bad information. I want you guys to be careful out there because there is a lot of information that's being spread that's trying to tap into making us scared, making us nervous, making us question things that we actually thought we knew. There's a difference between knowledge and bad information. So there's plenty of good knowledge out there. I would say, I can't say trust your sources because we don't even know what are good sources anymore, but part of it is your instinct, and part of it is if it sounds too good to be true, look into it again. If it sounds too absolutely crazy, look into that as well. Because sometimes, like for example, dandelions being absolutely great to deworm chickens. Great news. That's actually true. There's been facts on that before the AI and all this information apocalypse came about. You could look that kind of stuff up. Also, dandelions is really good for us. Good for us to eat. So those are kind of information. Bad information, is just all the, usually if it's political, if it seems like there's an agenda to try to get you to support something or not support something, that's where it usually doesn't pass my test of like, I'm not gonna, if it's just like, hey, you should think about eating some dandelions because they can make it healthier. If it's not saying it's a lot different than saying you should eat dandelions instead of taking medication, or you should eat dandelions instead of doing X. If it's just like, hey, look into some dandelions, they're pretty cool. Or someone says, look into this other thing, it's pretty cool. Those are definitely things that you should research a little bit, figure out if that's the right path for you. So, I'm going to try, guys. I'm going to try really hard for this next month, maybe for the next 30 days. I'm going to try to do a show every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. It's my goal for Let's Feed the Chickens. I'm going to try to also do those shows somewhere between like 2:15 to 2:45. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, like, subscribe, pay attention. I'm going to try my very best to do shows during those particular times. And I'll try to have more, interesting subjects to talk about, unless there's something just interestingly crazy going on the farm. And then you guys will just follow along with that. And then randomness is just going to be randomness. So I'm redoing Night Watch, and it's going to be called Doc's Holler Arcade. And so I look forward to the little bit of a name change, but it's just playing video games with a variety of people, or playing video games in the evenings. Those will probably start from like 7 Eastern time on. So between 7, 8, 9. So anyways, hope you guys have a good day. Thanks for hanging out. and all the other fun things that you guys do on the interwebs. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Let's talk.